you, and is this on?
Yep.
Welcome, everyone. As you know, I am not comfortable here. This is not the place I like to be. I'd rather be prepared in the boardroom. But as I was thinking about what we were going to speak about, I know there's going to be many issues tonight. There's lots of candidates in the room. So one of the things that is directly affected in District 1 is what I thought I would talk about tonight. So what helped me is when I got home today, the Petoskey News Review, a certain newspaper was at my house. And there was an article that said, "Aren't we lucky that we live here?" Well, I consider myself blessed that I live here. I live in an area, if you know where District 1 is, it has 7 townships in it. One of the things that they're talking about on this paperwork is social media, helping out with that, publications, and working with the employees, working with different people. But I want to talk about broadband in their homes. As I was knocking on doors this week and delivering my signs and asking people if I could put them in their yard, it was very evident that most of them said, "Tony, we can't even get on your website that you're talking about. We don't know the issues that are going on in the boardroom." So that is something that I'm really gonna try to talk with. I know that there's lots of people working on this, but that is going to be a priority for me if I am reelected, because it is a priority to the people that live in my district. So, you know, when we talk about having 3 minutes, 3 minutes is very short, but it can be very long. So, you know, I know that I'm looking at some of my notes, and one of the things that I found out is that the school kids in my area have to go to their local townships to get onto their Wi-Fi bands, and that bothers me. Talk about economic growth. How can we have economic growth if people aren't interconnected? You know, you just heard the president of the college talk about that. We don't have that in District 1. There are many, many homes that cannot receive a phone call because they don't have cellular. I know that I asked our administrator, Mr. Calabrese, to go with me to several of my township meetings, and he was surprised that he could not utilize his phone because it doesn't work. You can't get on the internet. So a lot of times what I have to do is I have to print off the paperwork before I go to these meetings so that I can hand deliver them paper copies. So if I'm going to have a priority for next year, that's what my priority is going to be, at least for District 1. And there are many others. You will hear other candidates talk about many other ones. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to just speak a little bit here. I'm not sure where my minutes are at. We're getting there, 15 seconds. But I wanted to say that I know Emmet County has gone through a lot of changes. But change is different. Different isn't bad. We're gonna get there, we're gonna move forward, and time is up. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Tony loves it when I make her go first. It's her favorite thing. I think Mike made it. Mike called me today and said, "I'm going to try." He just had some surgery, I think, today, and bless his heart, sucked it up, and he's gonna do just fine. So challenging Tony in District 1 on the Republican ticket is Mike Reed. And Mike, you have 3 minutes.
This song?
Yep.
That's good. Hey guys, I'm Mike. I grew up in Lovering, 38 years, graduated Halston, went to Michigan Tech, got a civil engineering and business administration degree. Came back, worked locally here. I'm for EMS. I think we need a few more rigs back on like it was a couple years ago, and decrease the response times up in District 1 area. The Dark Sky Park, I think, needs to be pushed and finished and increased. It's a great asset to Mackinac City and to draw people to it. And I'm for the airport. The airport is a huge attraction for people that come to this county, to this destination, and to be in our area. And I'm undecided on the transit. I don't know. I need more information on that to make my decision on that. Thanks, guys.
We'll move to District 2. And again, 2 candidates on the Republican ticket in District 2. And the first one of those is the incumbent, Neil Ahrens. And Neil, you have 3 minutes.
Thanks, Mayor. First of all, thanks to the sponsors of this event and the opportunity to speak. You have all contributed to the benefit of our county by holding this educational evening. Thanks also to my wife Liz Ahrens, who by her years of civic involvement has provided me by example of how to serve our county. She always has my back, and what man does not like hearing at least once a week that his wife is proud of him. Over the last year and 7 months, I've been a part of changes in Emmet County that have indeed made their mark for years to come. Those efforts have left our county on a stronger footing financially, building upon our late County Controller Lynn Johnson's wisdom of changing our retirement obligation structure many years ago. As I talk with county commissioners from across the state, we are envied for that foresight. One example of their stewardship is the upgrade of our accounting software. The previous platform was 30 years old, difficult to work with, and wouldn't leave its basement room it had lived in for 15 years when it originally come for a long weekend. This is my attempt at humor within this. We replaced it with a county standard used across the state that works with you and not against you, accommodating to our county department's needs without arguing or emptying the fridge. That's a little more humor, I think. Here's a short list of some of the changes I've been a part of as District 2 Commissioner. We are now paying back the county's delinquent tax revolving fund to prudent levels. We have establishment of central purchasing for the county, asset management of county property and resources, and a new land policy we never had before. And as far as transparency, the hot button word. The structure of county committees, including meeting times and dates posted online, along with minutes and agendas. The elimination of standing administrative committees and creation of the committee of the whole, which is held at a time and date that people can attend. As a commissioner, we are active on various committees and boards. My work includes the Emmet County Veterans Board, the Emmet Charlevoix County Fair Board, the Parks and Recreation Board, Northern Michigan Economic Development Plan for Emmet County. We don't currently have one. In addition, I volunteered to serve on the Michigan-wide legislative issues with our county, which has been gained by my participation. One effective on this committee is keeping county transport as a whole on a MAC legislative platform. I fought for that. After 20 years of conversations, our board recently approved new routes to the county transit system for 2019. I reached out to my constituents for their views on this topic, and I heard back. This is truly how representative democracy works. A large part of the credit of this event belongs to the advocacy of my constituents to make their wishes known. As a Navy veteran, former educator, and former township official, I place service in very high regard. I admire volunteerism, and I hold people in high esteem who give up their time. In conclusion, I humbly ask to be reelected, continue my service to Emmet County, and remember, in August and November, vote for Neil.
Thank you, Neil. I don't know, is Craig Antwine here? I haven't laid eyes on him. All right, so Neil's challenger in District 2 on the Republican ticket would be Craig Antwine, and I don't believe that he's here. He was invited. On District 2, we have a Democratic candidate, and she is unopposed in the primary, so she will move on to the November election. But she is here with us tonight. We invited her as well so she could introduce herself, and this is Lori Hartman running for District 2 County Commissioner on the Democratic side. And you have 3 minutes.
Hi everybody, thank you so much. To echo the other participants, thank you so much to the sponsors. Thank you more importantly to all of you for being here on this beautiful Northern Michigan, not sweltering hot night to show how much you care and how involved you are in the community. My name is Lori Hartman. As Carlin said, I am running for District 2 County Commissioner, which is Maple River, Pleasant View Township, West Traverse, and Friendship Townships. I am a mom, full-time. I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, and I also own my own business in Harbor Springs, Harbor Yoga. My husband and I, Peter, moved to this area, Emmet County, about 8.5 years ago. And once we settled down and really decided to be here, I started looking for purposeful ways and impactful ways that I could serve in the community. I'm currently the president on the PCN, Petoskey Children's Nursery Preschool Board, and I'm also on the Harbor Springs Education Foundation. And I'm a recent graduate of Leadership Little Traverse, which is a great program. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I also work with a collaboration of people to move forward school-based health in Emmet County. And I attend a lot of meetings. So I have a lot of support from my family, which is awesome. I've been going to the county commissioner regular meetings and the committee of the whole meetings for the past 15 months. and reading minutes when I'm not able to be there. And I've been going to the township board meetings as well for about the past 6 months. As a candidate, I'm qualified and I bring a unique and underrepresented perspective to the table. I understand and you care about the issues. I deeply value your input and the opportunity to listen and learn and connect with all of you. I take seriously the responsibility of protecting the resources that make our community so beautiful and optimal for the 12-week economy that we have here. But I see a really big opportunity, an exciting opportunity before us as community members, nonprofits, advocacy groups, committees, departments, professionals, and local government entities to proactively create a viable 12-month economy. Through developing strong community partnerships, some of the work that's already happening, strategic planning, policy creation and implementation, and prioritizing spending in a way that maximizes the dollars for that shared vision for a viable year-round community. We have the opportunity to preserve and sustain our critical infrastructure services, our roads, our public health, our mandated services, fire and sheriff, and also the unmandated EMS, and expand in areas of dire need: broadband access, workforce housing, and access to affordable childcare. I'm really optimistic. I see a future for our county where our children and our grandchildren can not only enjoy the water and the skiing, but also find fulfilling work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori. We move on to District 3, and we have 2 candidates on the Republican ticket in District 3. They are Nathan Hall and Charlie McGinnis. We'll start with Nathan, if he could. Yeah, I saw him earlier, I thought. So here's Nathan Hall on the Republican ticket, and Nate, you have 3 minutes.
Hi everybody, I'm Nate Hall. My wife and I own Conway Storage. I've grown up my entire life in Emmet County. What prompted me to run, we had a lot of restrictions as far as zoning issues. We're a lot of new businesses. It's pretty intimidating if someone wants to start a small business, and I don't have a welcome feeling, and I don't want people to have that. If you want to start a business from your home, I think that you should be welcomed when you come to the meetings and not meet, most people have probably never been to that, to meet the hostility, and I think that could be changed. Also, what's important to me is the affordable housing. I don't think that we have any in this county. A very good friend of ours, she's a single mom, she lives in Hillside Club Apartments. If $910 a month is affordable housing, then something's wrong, because that is too much. And I think that maybe if we could have a committee and get the developers together and find out what kind of incentives we can give them to maybe bring the prices down, I think that it would work, because I honestly, my daughter's at college, and if she wanted to move back to Petoskey, I don't even know where she could live, that she could afford on wages. So I guess I've been very fortunate that I've been here my whole life. If we could maybe look at that and see what we could do with it. I'm a huge supporter of the Sheriff's Department and the EMS. I think it's very important to have. And yes, my wife thinks I'm absolutely crazy for running this spot. She did remind me of that tonight. This is totally out of my element to come up here, but I consider myself a conservative where I don't think that we should, if we are going to spend any money, it's up to the taxpayers in this county. It should be put up to a vote. They should decide. It's their money. They want to spend it no matter the project. I promise that if I'm lucky enough to be elected, I will be completely responsible for the taxpayers' money. Other than that, thanks for giving me the time.
Thank you, Nate. His opponent in District 3 is the incumbent, Charles McGinnis. And as he makes his way to the podium, Charlie, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I was asked to run for county commissioner in 2012 because no one else in Harbor Springs wanted the job. Almost immediately after taking office, I began writing columns in the local newspaper to keep the electorate informed as never before. In 2014, the county board borrowed $15 million without a vote of the people. I was the only commissioner who voted against it. The board launched hastily conceived and poorly planned projects to take over the ambulance service and launch a dark sky project near Mackinac City. Taxpayers had no say in the way your money was being spent. Spending spun wildly out of control. I filed an unprecedented 5-page Freedom of Information Act request as a sitting county commissioner to find out why these projects were more than $5 million over budget. I got a reply, but the most common response was, there is no document. They couldn't explain how the money was being spent. I continued to write newspaper columns, and the newspapers closely covered the commission's scandalous actions. At this candidate forum exactly 2 years ago, I announced that the county's brand new ambulance service was not breaking even as some had promised. I discovered on page 55 of the county's annual audit that $442,000 had been quietly shifted into the ambulance fund to paper over a huge deficit. The voters paid attention and a revolution took place. I was the only county commissioner returned to office in 2016. The clean sweep was unprecedented. As chairman of the county board last year, I led an initiative that uncovered 16 illegal transfers of money from the treasurer's office to the general fund totaling $5 million to cover big deficits. Our new board brought in a new administration, a new budgeting and accounting system, and we got rid of 8 committees. We now publish our actions in the local newspaper every month. We post our agendas, proposed motions, and supporting documentation on the county website days in advance of our meeting so that everyone can follow along. All of the documents for tomorrow night's county board meeting are on the county website right now, and this is unprecedented. We approved a new code of ethics and a conflict of interest policy that I helped write, and a new policy governing sales of land. These are not campaign promises, these are accomplishments. Not everyone is happy about these changes, and some could be rolled back if we don't pay attention every single day. We have challenges ahead: funding for public transit, 911 upgrades, the county medical care facility, bike trail repairs, the dark sky problem. We have the right process in place, however, to find the answers, and I played a central role in creating it. I need voter support from Harbor Springs, Little Traverse Township, and Northern Bear Creek Township so that we can continue to improve Emmet County government. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. District 4 should be an easy one. We have one candidate on the ballot on either side of the ticket, and that's the current county commission chairman, Bill Shorter. Bill, you have 3 minutes.
Only 3? I'm by myself. I'll try to keep it to 2. That's why I wrote the statement that I was going to read from today. Today, reviewing Carlin's invitation to the forum, I was extremely reminded in a couple of places that I was running unopposed. I have to admit, when I heard this news originally, I was extremely excited. I shared the news with my wife and said, "Do you suppose the folks in my district think I'm doing a great job and want to see me serve another term?" She said, "I think no one in your district really wants the job." I'm not a career politician. However, after 18 months, 17 days, 19 hours, and 31 minutes, it seems like a career at this point. I've had 2 careers in the past, and this is my 3rd one. You may be wondering why I'm running for a 2nd term. I love this job. I want to be part of completing the goals of the Emmet County Board of Commissioners. During the past year and a half, the board committed to strategic planning. Our first planning session in 2017 gave us a preferred direction, and many of the goals have been accomplished. There's a very large goal yet to be completed: economic development and affordable housing. I requested and the board approved the Emmet County Economic Development Committee. I appointed Commissioners John Stako, Neil Ahrens, and Bill Scott, CEO and President of Great Lakes Energy. By the way, they are going to run broadband throughout the county in a very near future. And anybody that has Great Lakes Energy will have the opportunity to hook up. They are tasked with researching and developing year-round employment for our residents. We offer some of the best education opportunities for our youth in the state of Michigan. And where are they now? Many of your children and grandchildren don't have the opportunity to make a living here. Every person in this room has tenure. You've lived and given to the success and beauty of Emmet County. I don't think it's too much to ask to have your family live close by. There'll be another strategic planning session, and you're all invited to attend. It'll be held at the Emmet County Building on August 3rd for Preferred Future and Strategic Board. This will be an all-day exercise and involve important issues facing the county. The session is tentatively scheduled from 8 a.m. and should run through 4 or 5. You don't have to stay there the entire time. So, please check the county website for further details and have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. District 5 is where we move next. There's 2 candidates on the Republican ticket, Jim Cargill and Jonathan Scheel, and one on the Democratic side, George Richard Lewis. We'll start with the GOP, and Jim Cargill, you go first. There you are. I saw you earlier. I knew you were here. They're used to looking that way. Now the camera's over there too. So Jim, you have 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm not really gonna probably talk much about what's going on in the county right now because I'm a new candidate and I'd like maybe to explain more of who I am and what kind of person I am. My name's Jim Cargill, and I'm a candidate running for Emmet County Commissioner, District 5. And those that can, I'm asking you for your vote. I grew up in the Petoskey area and have been living here in the District 5 for 60 years. I attended St. Francis School for 9 years and graduated from Petoskey High School in 1973. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Marcy, and we have been blessed with 8 children. I've been working at the Emmet County Road Commission for 29 years. Being a road foreman for the last 14 has required me to work with the public on a daily basis. Each day presents its own challenges, which have helped me develop as a leader. I've always been a people person, and the Road Commission has given me the experience to do what I enjoy doing. Talking with constituents is an important part of being a commissioner. I realize that people may call you at home, corner you at the grocery store, or wherever. These people may be opponents or supporters of a particular issue, but as an elected official county, I feel an important issue that commissioners have to face is to get, so be it, go look. So you always make informative decisions. Needs as a commissioner. Last but not least, if elected as a 2, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Number 3, I will tell you how I feel. I would love to have the opportunity to give back to the community that has been so great for myself and family. Thank you so much for your time, and I humbly ask those that can vote for me to vote, and possibly working with all of you to improve Emmet County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Jim's opponent in District 5 is the incumbent, Jonathan Scheel. You know the drill.
Good evening. As your county commissioner, I take seriously my responsibility to spend your tax dollars on worthwhile policy and programs that positively affect your life. I believe I have and will continue to promote a diverse economy, the environment, and affordable housing for all. I have supported and will continue to support law enforcement and EMS. I will review the county budget for cost savings and more efficient use of your tax dollars. Over the last 18 months, I have regularly attended the Bear Creek Township trustee meetings and opened up a dialogue with board members and the public. I don't just report what county commissioners have been doing. I report on what issues are before the commissioners and ask for their input from the trustees and the public. I want to represent my district, not myself. I keep an open line of communication with all District 5 residents. I listen, then I develop policy. The commissioners have made some very positive changes in their last term. And Some of these you've heard from already tonight. We have created an open communication system for our public meetings. We changed the meeting times so more people can attend our meetings. We have online complete meeting packets, the same exact information we have as commissioners for our decision making. At the same time, before the meetings, not after. This allows the public to participate in the process. We have strengthened all county department purchasing procedures. We have a formal public budgeting process in place. We have put a sale of county property policy in place. We have put an ethics policy for the commissioners in place. We have a professional human resources manager. We publicly debate policy, not form it in some back room. Some of this has not been welcomed by all. Some has met resistance, but the vast majority of employees and public realize these things are needed to be accomplished to keep Emmet County moving forward, not back. There are many new future county decisions out there that will need the help of an experienced, thoughtful commission. Some of these are 911 upgrades, Bay Bluffs maintenance and upgrades, parking structure and other infrastructure improvements, trail maintenance throughout the county. Others that will feel pressure from a limited amount of funds that we have include EMS, the court system, workforce housing, and a more diverse economy. I have spent the last 18 months with well over a dozen regional and local committee assignments. These include the Health Department of Northern Michigan and many, many others. Please support me in this election so I can continue making Emmet County a better place to live, work, and play.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have a candidate on the Democratic side in District 5, and that is George Richard Lewis, and I saw you here someplace. George, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'll concede that Jonathan Shield is a hard worker and a good man. Just before, can you folks hear me? No, that was wasted. It's good to be in a room filled with voters and people who are running for office. And I compliment Jonathan on his shepherding the public transportation system. Just before I began this campaign, now retired North Central Michigan Community College president Cameron Koch said her main concerns for our community were economic development and lack of a living wage for too many of our people here. Our county commissioners have passed a public transit plan that involves 3 routes, and this is a good start that needs to be expanded as we go along so that those who need transportation can access it. Our sheriff has said that the main reason people violate probation or parole is because of drugs and alcohol, which just keeps them sitting in jail. We need, and our county commission should advocate for, a drug court in our circuit court, such as the one that exists in Sheboygan County, which is proving successful. Drug courts directly address drug and alcohol abuse through effective programs, and our Michigan Supreme Court has said that they, quote, reduce crime rates, lower unemployment, and strengthen communities, unquote, in their news release of May 1st, 2018. Both public transportation and the circuit court drug court directly address the real needs of our community. I am running because during the some 20 years I represented parents and children in probate court as their attorney, it became more and more apparent that more needs to be done to provide the best mental health care and rehab services for addiction, drugs and alcohol, in order to provide better outcomes for people involved in the neglect, delinquency, and criminal cases. District court is sobriety court for DUI drivers, and probate court organizes services for children or parents who have addiction, alcoholism, or mental health issues. This is something that we can do for our community. And the last thing I want to say is this, since I have a minute or less. When I was a child, I observed a picture on the front page of Life magazine during World War II. There was a soldier lying dead on a beach being covered by the sand. We have our democracy here today because of that sacrifice. And my wife and I are lucky enough to have a 2-year-old great-grandchild, and I want him to have the benefit of the democracy we have. This engagement of this type promotes that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, George. We'll move on to District 6, where voters are going to have 3 choices on the Republican ticket. They are Mike Coulter, David Klink, and David White. And Mike Coulter starts first, I guess.
Thank you, Connie.
Yep, yeah, 3 minutes.
Good evening. Many of you may know me, perhaps most of you know me. I've lived at the same address in Resort Township, or next door to the same address.
Mike, you want to get closer to the mic?
Or next door to the same address for nearly 45 years. I had the same phone number, except for a short time where we're building a new handicapped accessible home due to my wife's health issues. We raised 5 children there. We now have 5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. I could tell you many stories of the ups and downs of raising a family, making a living, and dealing with health issues. By the grace of God, I am here now, and they are all part of my life experiences. I am a candidate for County Commissioner in the 6th District because I believe I would be the capable and responsible choice. Also, I have the time to do the work. I term myself a socially responsible conservative, meaning I'm responsive to social issues while still vigilant of the tax dollars. My credentials are quite varied, all achieved in my many life experiences, working and raising a family. I have had several different professions in my work history, and I feel I have excelled at all of them. My priorities are watching the tax dollars and how they are spent. Some things should be done by the county. There are other things that should be done by the townships or by state or federal governments. I want to know where the tax dollars are going and why. Is there anyone held accountable for how they're spending the tax dollars? I believe that if the county commissions a project and signs a contract with a building contractor, any over budget amount should be held to the terms in the contract. If you've been paying attention, there have been more than a few projects in the past few years that I feel were excessively over budget. The issues in the next few years will be many. The questions concerning spending tax dollars should always be, is it really needed? Is it really the county's concern? What will the cost be? And where is the money coming from? Taxable values usually go up every year, meaning income to the county usually goes up. Let's try to work with the tax dollars we get. As I stated earlier, I am asking for your vote because I believe I would be the capable and responsible choice. Thank you.
So next up is David Klink. David, I'm realizing I probably need some work on the alphabet. Klink probably should have gone before Coulter, right? CL before CO. I'll work on that. So again, we're in County Commission District 6, and David, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is David Klink. My family's been in northern Michigan for over 120 years, and one of my generations back came here in 1677. 7 years after the natives showed up in Traverse City from Canada. I have worked most of my life in public service, and for some uncanny reason, the last 10 or 15 years, when people have a major problem, they come to me. And for some uncanny reason, I'm able to find the information to help those people and pass it on. In the last 10, 12 years, I was aware that there was a problem with the Petoskey drinking water. I spent over $20-some thousand working with the Coast Guard, the FBI, and ICE, investigating the drinking water in this town, what the EPA did with Bay Harbor, and most people aren't aware that the EPA is not in charge of the Great Lakes, the Coast Guard is. They flew over with helicopters in 2006 and took pictures of the contamination into the bay. They took magnetic resonate to the kiln piles and found the stuff that's illegally buried there. DEP has never done anything about it, even though they were told in our township ordinance that my friends worked at the cement plant, we buried the stuff there. Someday that needs to be looked into. Also, we have a major condo down by the pier. When they were building it in 2006, I was the one who took pictures of the dirt. According to EPA, 5 foot was supposed to be moved, no basements. They decided to put 2 foot out instead. The picture shows they took out none. I called the gentleman in charge of it from Chicago, the EPA. He told me to be up here in 2 months to look at it, make sure it was done right. 3 months later, came calling him back, he did nothing about it. Now we have major contamination, toxic fumes coming through those people's condos. The EPA, Ralph Belhoff, called me last November, requesting information I had not, which he received. Right now, I've got a big problem with the trailer park where I live. They had a company put up meters in charge of water and sewer. We're already paying for water, sewer, and lot rent, and now we're being double billed. When the meters were put in, there was some problems with my system. Insurance company come up, took pictures, found there's trees next to my trailer. But if not removed in the next 7 days, I'm gonna lose my house insurance. The manager's mad at me. I just found out also that the major contamination of the Big White Garage at the county line by H&D years ago contaminated the groundwater so bad that 3 homes between there and the Catholic Church in Bay Shore were disallowed to be used and added to our trailer park system. In the past 2 months, I found out from the DEQ, Catholic Water Division, that information was never reported. I just found out in the last 4 days, the Contamination Department, DEQ and Gaylor, never got it either. So we've been drinking the water well up there for 30 years that should have been condemned. If you want somebody who's going to fight for you, to do what's right, do you want your kids to die of cancer in the 20s and 30s? I'm the guy that's going to help you out. God bless.
Thanks, David. Now we call upon the other David in District 6, and that is David White, also on the Republican ticket. Dave, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Carl. My name's Dave White. I'm running for District 6. I've usually been on the other side, having spent 30 years in the city management profession, starting many years ago when Richard Gorman was city manager in the 70s. Moving on then after getting my master's degree from Michigan State University to Sioux City, Iowa. And let me tell you, I may have been in Iowa, but my heart was in Petoskey, because until you spent July in Iowa, you don't know what you have here. We ended up in Ohio, in Washington Courthouse. My wife has been with me for 34 years, and 22 years ago became a teacher at Central Elementary School in the kindergarten. I've always said a kindergarten teacher and a city manager make a perfect pair. After retiring from East Jordan, we moved to Resort Township so my wife could be closer to employment after driving 13 years back and forth between towns. We have no children, but I would be remiss and probably won't get in the house if I don't mention that we adopted a shelter cat in January named Lucy. She is treating us quite well. We're members of Zion Church, Lutheran Church here in Petoskey, and I can offer the District 6 representatives, residents in District 6, my experience of 30 years. The new software that other committee candidates have mentioned is known as BSNA, which I've worked with for many years. And my main goal is economic development. As Chairman Shorter said, all of the issues that are on my letter, which I sent out to all the constituents in this District 6, transit, EMS, 911, whose board I served on for 10 years, representing, affordable housing, workforce housing. I don't know that many of you know that I'm on the board of Northern Homes Community Development Corporation in Boyd City. I'm currently the vice president and original board member. Northern Homes owns Maple Village over on Cemetery Road, which is an affordable housing project that we were quite proud of. Emmet County Airport, recycling, our sheriff and judicial and planning and zoning, that all boils down to economic development. We need to bring our children to live back here. We need not only workforce housing, but affordable housing. We need some form of transit in the county. I'm one of the only candidates that lives in the southernmost part of the county, but worked in the northernmost part of the county when I was city manager of Mackinac City. I know driving the 31 corridor every day, twice a day, can be a hair-raising and sometimes life-threatening experience. I ask for your support. I'm running to bring my experience. I have no other agenda to have but to help move Emmet County forward. My heart has been here since the 50s when we lived in the great city of Odin, and I would like to continue and be supportive of the county and hope that I can get your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. I should point out that District 6, the incumbent is John Stako, and he is not seeking re-election, so there will be a new person in that seat this year. We move on to District 7, and somebody else who just loves public speaking is our next presenter. In District 7, 2 Republicans on the ticket, Izzy Lyman and Elizabeth White. And Izzy, you got 3 minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming, and thank you to the Chamber et al. For hosting this event. My name is Izzy Lyman, and I live on Jennings Avenue, which is right around the corner. I am a wife. My husband works at Kilwins, but has taught at this college. I am a mother. My eldest son, who is a foreign correspondent, lives in Switzerland with my talented daughter-in-law, who is a math teacher at an international boarding school. My youngest son works as a physical therapist in Virginia, but hopes to move back to Michigan. I am the daughter of Costa Rican immigrants. My brothers and I are very proud that our father was recently laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. I am an educator. For these past 3 years, I've used my PhD to teach online college students. I am a writer. My work has been cited in the London Times, the Irish Times, the New York Times, the Detroit News, Fox News, and Huffington Post. I am a Petoskey City Council member representing Ward 2. MCMC is in this ward, by the way. I ran on a pro-neighborhoods platform, and one of my passions is promptly helping constituents with their neighborhood concerns, be they about traffic, waste, or noise. I publish a Facebook page for Ward 2, and I have a perfect attendance record for council meetings. I am now a candidate for Emmet County Commissioner at District 7. Shortly after filing my paperwork, I began a listening and learning journey. Today, I have met with staff from the county clerk's office, prosecutor, regional airport. I've taken tours of Bay Bluff, Friendship Center, the Headlands Observatory, and the EMS station on Epler Road. I've read the master plan, and I have a copy of the 30-something page budget. I've quizzed present and past commissioners. Everyone I spoke with has been professional, informative, and interesting. District 7 includes Ward 1, 2, and 4 in the city of Petoskey and a sliver of Bear Creek Township. Today, I've knocked on many doors, including the apartments at Riverview Terrace, a pleasant senior community, and some of my millennial friends walked in the Petoskey 4th of July parade with me. On a furry critter note, Winchester, Chloe, Oscar, Lily, Stewie, Willow, St. Michael, and Bubba are among the many dogs I've met on the campaign trail. Emmet County is the quintessential pure Michigan destination. If elected to the Board of Commissioners, I will work to keep that brand strong. I believe government should deliver quality, innovative services at the lowest cost possible to taxpayers. I also believe a commissioner serves as de facto ambassador for our community. If you live in District 7, I would love your vote, and I would love for you to take a yard slam. Let's keep Emmet County the #1 county in Michigan by keeping it safe, affordable, and beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Izzy. And next we have, I can't call you Elizabeth, Betsy White. Is that all right?
Right.
So Betsy is the incumbent in District 7 and running against Izzy, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi. Thanks for coming tonight. This is pretty impressive that you would all come in a beautiful July night to listen to us. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm currently the commissioner in District 7, which is Petoskey, and I want to share a little bit about myself, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm focused on as a commissioner and why I'd like to be reelected. I have a bachelor's degree in math and geology, a certificate in secondary education, so I've taught 7th and 8th grade. I have a master's in social work from Michigan State, and I've been a therapist and counselor for families for 10 years. I also have an accounting major from Aquinas, so that I know numbers since I work with my husband and have worked with him for 40 years. I taught school, been a counselor, chaired finance committees, owned and managed 2 commercial buildings in downtown Petoskey, and I know financial statements. My focus is on money, my money and the taxpayers' money. And I think I have the critical thinking skills to look at all sides of things before making financial decisions. As a board, we've accomplished a lot over the last 18 months, and you've heard from everybody what we have accomplished. Mostly, we've discovered where we finally stand financially after the $18 million spending spree of the last board. We are okay, but we're not great. We have to be very, very careful, very vigilant about the budget. This is no hobby for me. Money is a serious, serious matter. As in my home and businesses, I prioritize, I keep the budget and watch it very, very closely. I buy only what I can afford, and I plan for the future. And by the way, I am debt-free. Personally. I believe I have the training, the background, and the critical thinking skills to help Emmet County, and I ask for your support, please.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the county commissioners being here tonight and the county commission candidates being here tonight. Once again, they did a great job. Thanks, everybody. One more round of applause. Okay, kind of a quick reset as we move into the state. If anybody wants to grab a cookie, they would be forgiven for doing so, but you have like 1 minute as I adjust paperwork and we pull our state candidates up. State candidates, we'll just have you sit kind of in the back here and then each come up to the podium, and we'll do the state senate and state house at the same time. So as you guys want to make your way up, anybody want to grab a water or a cookie or coffee, please do so really quickly.
I'm surprised you brought me. But not this late in the day, so, you know. Would you like to step? I haven't eaten today. I know, crazy. Go inside.